Good afternoon. Unit 1 Electrostatics. So, the point is electric potential, gravitational field, work, and potential energy. So, first we will see the introduction. A charge always produces electric field. If test charge is placed within the electric field of charge, then it experiences a force. And if the test charge is moving against the direction of the electric field, then work is required to overcome the force. So, what is work done? The electric field intensity is defined as the force on unit test charge at that point at which we finish to find the value of this force. So if we consider the chain Q1 is charge Q1 is placed at point P, then due to the due to this charge the electric field will exist. And if we want to place the test charge in electric field of charge Q1, then some work must be done by an external source to bring the test charge from the reference position to the final target position. So the work done is nothing but the energy utilized. The work must be done by an external force to move an object against the nature from low potential energy to high potential energy. And objects naturally move from high potential energy to low potential energy under the influence of electric field. So if the test charge Q is moved opposite to the direction of the vector field, the work done is said to be positive. And if it is in the same direction of the vector field, then work done is negative, and work is done by field itself. So let the charge Qt be moved a distance dl bar in the electric field E bar. So point charge experiences a force in an electric field. F bar is equal to Qt into E bar, and because of this force the charged particles are accelerated. Its motion is in the direction of the field if the charge is positive. And in order to maintain the charge in equilibrium, it is necessary to apply the force in opposite direction with equal magnitude. So work done is force into distance, and we can write work done as dw equal to F bar into dl bar, or we can say dl cos q. So here the direction of the electric field is given. Moving a positive test charge from A to B will require a work and increase the potential energy of the charge. Then in second diagram, moving a positive test charge from B to A will not require work and it decreases the potential energy. Diagram C shows moving a positive test charge from A to B will not require work. There is decrease the potential energy. And in D diagram, moving a positive test charge from B to A will require work and increase the potential energy. So electric potential is so if we consider a charge q is within the electric field of q, the test charge, consider a charge q, and within the electric field of q, the test charge q1 is placed. The test charge qt experiences at a force which is given by F equal to E into qt. So in order to hold the test charge at a given position, the force is required to be applied in opposite direction. So force applied is minus E bar into qt. So in order to hold the test charge at given position, the force is required to be applied in opposite direction. So force is minus E bar into qt. And if the test charge is moving the small distance against the electric field, then the sum energy or work must be required, and it is given by work is equal to force into dA. So displacement of point charge q figure is given. The total work done or the potential energy required in moving a q from A to B is W is equal to minus q A to B E bar dot dl bar. So dividing W by Q in this equation, we get the potential energy per unit charge. And this quantity denoted by VAB, it is known as the potential difference between the points A and B. So VAB is equal to W by Q, which is equal to minus of integration goes from A to B E bar dot dl bar. The negative sign indicates that the work is being done by an external agent. So here electric potential VAB is independent of the path taken and it is measured in joules per coulomb, commonly referred as V volt. So 1 volt is 1 joule per coulomb. So VAB is dependent of the, here VAB is what? It is dependent of the path taken and VAB is measured in joules per coulomb. So 1 volt is 1 joule per coulomb, commonly referred as a volt. So potential gradient is, before going to the potential gradient, what is absolute potential? The work done for bringing unit positive charge from infinity to any point within the electric field and against the electric field is called as potential or absolute potential of that point. The work done for bringing unit positive charge from infinity to any point within electric field and against the electric field is called the potential or absolute potential of that point, and it is denoted by V and it is measured in volt. So what is potential difference? The work done for bringing unit positive charge from one point to another point within the electric field and against the electric field is called as potential difference between that 2 points. The work done for bringing unit positive charge from one point to another point within the electric field and against the electric field is called potential difference between 2 points. And if unit positive charge is moving in that point B to point A, then the potential difference is denoted by VAB, which is equal to VA minus VB. So VA is absolute potential at point B, at point A, and VB is absolute potential at point B. Now what is potential gradient? Before going to the potential gradient, there are potential due to the point charge, second is potential due to the line charge, and third is potential due to the surface charge. So there are the expressions for the potential due to point, line and surface charge. Then the next is potential gradient. Now potential gradient means what? It is defined as the change in potential with respect to distance. Potential gradient means it is defined as the change in potential with respect to distance, and it is denoted by E and measured in volt per meter. So E is equal to dV by dL. If A and B are close to each other, then dV is equal to minus of integration of E bar dot dl bar, and as the distance is very small, so we can write it as a minus E dl cos theta. The potential is max when theta is 180, dV is E dl bar. So we can write E is equal to dV by dl. So what is potential gradient? It is defined as a change in potential with respect to distance. The operation on V by which E is obtained is known as gradient. The magnitude of the electric field intensity is given by a maximum value of rate of change of potential with distance. This maximum value is obtained when the direction in which V increases is opposite to E. The maximum value of electric field intensity is equal to the maximum value of rate of change of potential with distance. The maximum value is obtained when the direction of increment in distance is opposite to that of E bar. The maximum value of dV by dl is called as the gradient of V. So gradient of V is dV by dl max, and gradient of V is a vector quantity whose direction is along the field line. But if we know that the potential rise is obtained when moving against the electric field, the direction of the gradient is opposite to that of the field. So therefore gradient of V is minus E bar. Now gradient is denoted by delta. Next is Maxwell's equation in static electric field. So Maxwell's first equation from the Gauss's law, we can write this equation as integration of d bar dot ds bar, which charge enclosed is q. From the Gauss's law, total charge q is integration rho v into dv. And from the divergence theorem, the equation is given. So we compare equation 1 and 2 and we get delta dot d bar is equal to rho v. So the point form of Gauss's law, delta dot d bar is rho v, and this point form of Gauss's law is called as Maxwell's first equation. This point form of Gauss's law is called Maxwell's first equation, which states that in case of vanishingly a small volume unit, the electric flux leaving per unit volume is equal to the volume charge density. This states that in case of vanishing a small volume unit, the electric flux leaving per unit volume is equal to the volume charge density. So we know that the divergence is expressed as the sum of three partial derivatives. Maxwell's first equation is also described as the differential equation from form of Gauss's law. So Gauss's law is recognized as the integral part of Maxwell's first equation. Gauss's law is recognized as the integral part of Maxwell's first equation. So the next point is Maxwell's equation in static electric field. So there are four Maxwell's equation for the static field. We will consider these equations separately in this point form and in integral form. The point form of Maxwell equation for static field. In that Maxwell's first equation, second equation and third equation and fourth equation. Then integral form of Maxwell equation for static field, in that also Maxwell's first, second, third and fourth equation. Then Maxwell's equation in static field, there are point form and integral form. So Maxwell's equation in point form is delta dot d bar in is equal to rho v. It is charge density. The electric flux crossing any closed surface per unit volume when volume tends to 0 is always equal to the volume charge density. The delta dot d bar is equal to rho v, that is the electric flux crossing any closed surface per unit volume when volume tends to 0 is always equal to the volume charge density. So delta is divergence of the electric flux density, rho v is the charge density. Then delta cross So Maxwell's first equation is that this equation is the point form of Gauss's law, and which have already Gauss's law we have already studied. So the statement is the electric flux per unit volume leaving a vanishingly a small volume is equal to the volume charge density. Then Maxwell's second equation is that this is a point form of Ampere's circuital law. The curl of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current density. The statement of second equation is the curl of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current density. So delta cross H bar is equal to J bar. What is H bar? It is magnetic field intensity and J bar is current density. Then Maxwell's third equation is that the curl of electric field intensity is 0. Curl of electric field intensity is 0. So delta cross E bar is 0. The electric field is radial in nature. So electric field intensity or potential at all points which are at equal distance is same, and consider a fixed charge Q. So consider the different points at the same distance from this fixed charge. So let all these points are at radial distance r from capital Q, and these points form equipotential surface. So if we suppose we have to move the charge Q1 from point A to B, then work done while moving this point charge, but all the points on the equipotential surface are at same potential. So work done while moving the point charge Q1 from point A to B is 0. Then Maxwell's fourth equation, this is point form of Gauss's law for magnetostatic. So for static magnetic field, the total outgoing flux is 0. So delta dot B bar is 0. The magnetic flux lines are continuous and the flux lines do not terminate on a magnetic charge. Since these magnetic lines are closed, we have dV as a differential volume. So delta dot B bar is equal to 0. Then integral form of Gauss's law, the Maxwell's first equation, the statement of this, it is obtained from the divergence theorem. Statement for this is the surface integral of electric flux density over the closed surface is equal to the volume integration of volume charge density. The surface integral of electric flux density over the closed surface is equal to the volume integration of volume charge density. The integral form entails the integral of the normal component of the electric field over the surface. The only places at which the divergence of the electric field is not zero are those locations at which the charge is present. If positive charge is present, divergence is positive, meaning that the electric field tends to flow away from that location. If the negative charge is present, then the divergence is negative and the field lines tend to flow toward that point. So the line integral of E along a closed path is given by integration of E bar dot dl bar is 0, and it implies that there is no net work done in moving a charge along a closed path in electrostatic field. So applying Stokes theorem to equation 1, we get this equation as delta cross E bar is 0. This is Maxwell's second equation. So what is Maxwell's second equation? The line integral of magnetic field, the line integral of electric field intensity over the closed path is 0. The line integration of electric field intensity over the closed path is 0. Then Maxwell's next equation is the line integral of magnetic field intensity over the closed path is equal to the surface integration of current density. Line integral of magnetic field intensity over a closed path is equal to the surface integration of current density. So here integration E bar dot dl bar, here no work is involved in carrying a unit charge from A through R2 resistance R2 and R3 to B and back to A through R1, or that the sum of the potential differences around any closed path is 0. So Kirchhoff's circuit law for voltage. Then Maxwell's next equation is the amount of net magnetic flux entering and leaving the closed surface is same. Amount of net magnetic flux entering and leaving the closed surface is same. So here is a summary of Maxwell's first and second equation. In differential form, delta dot d bar is rho v. Maxwell's second equation differential form is delta cross E bar is 0. Integral form, first equation, integration d bar dot ds bar is charge enclosed, that is q. In integral form for second equation, integration E bar dot dl bar is 0. So these are the Maxwell's equation. So Maxwell's equation, summary of the point form of Maxwell's equation for static. First equation, electric flux per unit volume leaving a small volume is equal to the volume charge density. Second equation, the curl of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current density. Third equation, the curl of electric field intensity is 0. And fourth equation is, for static magnetic field, the total outgoing flux is 0. Then next, the summary of the Maxwell's equation in integral form for static field. First equation, the surface integral of electric flux density over the closed surface is equal to the volume integration of volume charge density. Second equation, the line integral of magnetic field intensity over the closed path is equal to the surface integration of current density. Third equation is, the line integration of electric field intensity over the closed path is 0. And fourth equation, the net magnetic flux entering and leaving the closed surface is same. Now in case of static field, the electric field can exist in the absence of magnetic field. Similarly, magnetic field can exist in the absence of electric field. But if the fields are not static, that means if they are time variable, then E bar cannot exist without H bar and vice versa. So we have to consider the Maxwell's equation separately for the static field and for time varying field also. Again, in time varying field, there are Maxwell's equations are divided into two forms, that is point form and the integral form. So the next part, current density, we will see. We will continue this in the next lecture. Thank you.